Welcome back to the channel, everybody. I'm Ricky Green, your host here on Tide Talk, and you're watching the Alabama Football News and Rumors channel on YouTube. If you're new around here, hit that subscribe button right now and help us reach our goal of having 4,500 subscribers here on our channel. In today's episode of Tide Talk, we want to take a quick look at a couple of different things. We're going to talk the absolute latest on superstar Alabama wide receiver Jaylen Waddle. What do we expect as far as the national championship game is concerned? We'll talk a little bit about how he's looked since he returned to practice. We've heard Saban comment on it and other players as well. And then we're going to take a quick look tonight at a couple of Alabama football players that may be sort of a surprise that could come back next season and benefit from that. We'll get started in today's episode of Tide Talk right now. All right, real quick before we even get started tonight, if you haven't hit the subscribe button yet, we're trying to get to 4,500 subscribers here on the Alabama Football News and Rumors channel. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button for me right now and help us reach our goal. Hit that bell for notifications. If you never want to miss a single episode of Tide Talk, go ahead and take care of that for me right now. Okay, talking about Jaylen Waddle, we're looking at a couple of Alabama guys that may surprise some Alabama fans by coming back next season. We'll get started in tonight's episode of Tide Talk with a question for our viewers. You know what to do by now. Get in the comment section and let me know, Y for yes or N for no, do you believe Jaylen Waddle will actually play in the national championship game against Ohio State University? Y for yes, N for no. And we're not talking about just as a decoy here. We're talking about specifically, will Jaylen Waddle actually make an impact? I'll post this question down in the comment section, and I can't wait to see what you all think about that. Look, we've talked about this for several days now here on the YouTube channel, and at one point in time, I thought it would be a small miracle of sorts if we saw Jaylen Waddle again. But now we've heard, Jaylen Waddle went back to practice day before yesterday. That evening, if you follow me on Twitter, you saw that Tide Talk Sports kind of brought to you all that we had heard that he looked good in that first practice. And since we've heard players like John Mechie, among others, and even Nick Saban himself say that Jaylen Waddle indeed has looked good at practice so far. Now, Nick Saban in his press conference today kind of went on to say that, it's really about how a guy reacts when you put that workload back on them when they're coming back from an injury. So to me, at this point, it sounds like Saban has told us that Jaylen Waddle wants to play. We've heard that he's done well at practice, no doubt about that. To me, it sounds like right now the choice is in Jaylen Waddle's hands, and it pretty much hinges upon how he reacts to the workload that he's taken on this week at practice. If there is no significant swelling or pain that he starts to experience from this week's practice exercises, then I expect Jaylen Waddle to play in the national championship game in just a few days against the Ohio State Buckeyes, and not just as a decoy. If he can give us 10 or 15 plays where he is still that most dynamic wide receiver in the nation, then Ohio State's defense has an entirely different dimension now to prepare for. And it's already rolling to that point, just him being back at practice. That defensive coordinator there up north in the scarlet and gray has to be thinking, Jaylen Waddle's back at practice. Another wrinkle that I have to figure out how to slow down on one of what was already the most dynamic offense this year in college football. The individual awards that have been won by our skill players, the Heisman Trophy to Devonta Smith, all evidence that this indeed is not only the best offense of the Nick Saban era, but this year, the best and most dynamic offense in all of college football. Whether you're an Alabama fan or not, you have to recognize greatness when you see it. And Steve Sarkisian has done a fantastic job. I believe that Jaylen Waddle will play in this championship game and make an impact. All right, moving right along here. If you believe Alabama comes away with national championship number 18 in just a few days, and Alabama takes down the Ohio State Buckeyes, then I want you to hit that thumbs up button for me right now. We've got some Notre Dame fans that might still be a little bit upset about that whooping that the Tide put on them a few days ago coming through, apparently giving us some thumbs downs here and there. Need your help, Alabama family. We got to even that thing back out. Hit that thumbs up button for me right now, and I certainly would appreciate that. All right, before we wrap up the video tonight, I want to ask one more question for the viewers. Get back in the comment section right now and let me know what you think about this. Does Dylan Moses come back to Alabama for one more season? Y for yes, N for no. I will post this question down in the comment section as well, and I can't wait to see what you think about that. The reason I asked this question is because the past few days we have heard over and over again now that Dylan Moses really only felt like he was 100% himself in the very first game of the season against the Missouri Tigers. Since then, he has not felt mentally where he needs to be, and he has played through sounds like pretty significant pain every game since week 1 of the 2020 college football season. Now, Alabama fans are knowledgeable fans, no doubt about it. Behind the scenes, we all kind of knew that something wasn't right with Dylan. I've had several conversations with multiple different people about how we couldn't quite put our finger on it, but something wasn't right with Dylan Moses. You see number 8, Christian Harris, playing outstanding. You see Jalen Moody, even when he came in, playing very, very well, and it was quite obvious to us that something wasn't right with Dylan. So to hear that he was playing through injury and pain from that injury still all season long leads me to ask the question that I asked a few moments ago. Do you believe that Dylan Moses could come back to Alabama for next season, one more year as the captain of the defense, truly feeling like his old self again and fully healthy, and help himself out when it comes to his NFL draft stock? Personally, I think an injury-free year from Dylan could do him some good. You hate to see it, even though he's playing through pain, but there's no doubt in my mind that he has slipped at least somewhat down these draft boards throughout the season this year. And an additional year back at Alabama with this wonderful training staff that we have and our incredible coaching staff, a healthy year where he is that elite superstar Dylan Moses again that we all know he can be, certainly wouldn't hurt his draft stock at all, in my opinion. One guy that we think could surprise a few people and come back next year, maybe Mr. Dylan Moses himself. Another guy we want to look at real quickly before we close out, Christopher Allen at outside linebacker. He has quietly had one of the best seasons of any linebacker on Alabama's team this season. Every single time you look, he's in the backfield, close to the quarterback, close to the mesh point between the quarterback and the running back, making plays, getting sacks, stripping the ball. Christopher Allen has had a fantastic year, but he has a small sample size. I believe Allen is talented enough to come back for one more season, continue this elite level of play from that outside linebacker spot, and play his way in to a early second round draft type of guy. Allen is another guy that we feel like, in addition to Dylan Moses, could come back for one more year and maybe benefit as far as their NFL draft stock is concerned. We're going to go ahead and wrap up tonight's episode of Tide Talk. Wanted to hit on Jaylen Waddle, wanted to hit on a couple of guys that could help themselves out by returning for one more year. But before we sign off tonight, one last time, if you haven't hit that subscribe button already, I want you to do that right now. Tide Talk Sports wants to bring you the best information on the entirety of YouTube when it comes to Alabama football and recruiting. And if you'll hit that subscribe button right now, we'll keep bringing all the smoke as surely as the tide will roll. I'm Ricky Green here for Tide Talk Sports on the Alabama Football News and Rumors channel on YouTube, presented by Chat Sports. We'll see you next time. Roll Tide.